What's up, guys? Before we get started today, I just want to remind everybody, make sure you like, follow, and subscribe to ER Comedy. It doesn't cost you anything, but it means the world to me, and I'm appreciative for everybody who's ever done one of those things. Before we get today's episode started, I want to read off, I got a couple upcoming comedy dates. September 27th, I will be in STL at the Crack Fox, so make sure you come out. That's also to promote the show, Comic Invasion. September 28th, I'll be back in STL with my good friend Rob T over in University City. He runs a showcase over there. It's going to be a great time. I know it's going to be a lot of fun. On October 4th, I'll be in Nashville, Tennessee. On October 5th, I'll be in Poplar Bluff, Missouri. And November 9th, I will be in Oh, it was perfect until that moment. I will be in Clarksville, Tennessee on November 9th. So, guys, make sure you come out. It should be a lot of fun. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Best Podcast. My guests today are Tiel, Pearce, and Andrew Gieselmann. They're both friends and fans of the podcast. They've been on before, and they're very funny comics. The three of us are doing a show together called STL Tonight. That's STL and then TONITE. We are hanging out, having a good time, but it's kind of like a mini SNL. There'll be some sketches, there'll be some stand-up, there'll be some improv. It's going to be fun. So make sure you come out and support that show. And I know you'll enjoy the episode. I like the support on that. It was a team effort. You guys want to plug your social medias real quick and any shows you got coming up that you want to let people know about?
Sure, yeah. My personal social media would be Andrew in St. Louis. The social media we use for the sketch show / meme page and whatever is STL Tonight. That's STLTONITE on Instagram.
Like Nick at Night.
Yep. Because we're funny. We don't spell it correctly.
Yeah. Because we're edgy.
Yeah.
Any shows or anything you got coming up?
So me and Tiel are on an improv stand-up showcase next Wednesday, September 4th at the Heavy Anchor. And then the STL Tonight live show that we're all three will be on will be October 23rd at the Heavy Anchor. It's going to be a Halloween special. We're looking forward to it.
Yeah, and I'm also going to be in the Fountain City Comedy Festival.
Oh, nice.
In September. That's September 12th to the 14th in Kansas City, Missouri. Not Kansas City, Kansas.
Good.
And then, yeah, my socials are... My social is Tiel520, Tiel 520 on Instagram. So
check them out. You're in Flyover too, aren't you?
I am in Flyover.
Congrats, buddy.
Yeah, that's
pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's in November. Check that out. Check out Flyover Comedy Fest on all social media platforms.
That's that festival's not easy to get into.
He's moving up the lineup too. He's getting up there.
Yeah, I saw your name was. Because I'm sure only comics look at stuff like this, but it's like where in the paragraph of names your name comes in, and you're like, oh,
yeah,
look at that. Tiel's name is in the font level.
That's a big centimeter right there.
Yeah. He went from Times New Roman 3 to 6 this year. You know what I mean?
That's a big leap.
It's a big deal. Okay, that should be that should be part of your credits before you go on stage. Be like, in a comedy festival poster, they used 6.5 font for his name. Somebody asked me the other day what my credits were, and I was like, oh, tell them I'm the #1 comic on Zillow. And I was just trying to come up with as many fake things, and I was thinking that they would like be like, "Oh, haha," but they were like, "Okay, all right, so Zilla," and I was like, "No, dude, don't, just no." I was trying to think about. I didn't write this down, but I was thought about it on the way up. What do you guys think the best part of like performing is? Whether it's stand up or sketch or improv or, what do you think the best part is?
Oh, that's tough. I just like the energy that you get from on stage, that like the crowd gives you and that you can give back. It's just, yeah, it's like the coolest feeling, really. It's hard to describe. Like, you really can't get that anywhere else than on stage.
Yeah, it's like just, yeah, it's just like hearing the crowd. Like, it's you could get it online, but it's like nothing compares to the real to like live, like instant feedback.
Yeah, that instant gratification kind of like. Well, I don't even know if instant gratification is the right phrase for it, because sometimes a joke takes months and months and months before it works. So, but when it finally does figure out, I feel like it's kind of like a puzzle.
Yeah.
Where you're like, hey, I had this idea and I'm trying to get other people to see what's funny about it. Especially if it's a little bit like of a sensitive topic, you know what I mean? Where people are like, wait, what? Where's he going with it? And then
you somehow still land.
Yeah, if you can somehow land the plane, then it's like, oh, okay.
And everyone claps and it's not embarrassing.
And then you're like, oh, this is what love feels like. Oh.
People are listening to me.
Serotonin. Yay. What do you think the best flavor of Gatorade is? I know you were just here recently, so we might have already done this one. I'm not sure. But Tiel, you haven't been here in a while, so a lot of these are going to be pretty new.
Okay.
I think most of these are new. They should be new for you, too. I don't know. But best flavor of Gatorade. Or are you more of a Powerade man?
I'm definitely a Gatorade guy. Lemon lime Gatorade used to be like.
Really? Lemon lime? You're the first person to say that one.
That was the only one I liked. Like
Really?
I have very my palate's very sensitive, so like whatever. So like if something tastes disgusting to me once, I'm never gonna eat or drink it again. So
Yeah.
I tried other Gatorades and they just were doing it for me. And then finally I got to lemon lime and that tasted good. And I'm like, oh, this is basically just how Sprite is supposed to look. You know what I mean?
I like that. Yeah, how Sprite is supposed to look. That's yeah.
I never really taste lemon lime and Sprite. Yeah, like that's like the Sprite flavor, but
yeah, it's supposed to be lemon lime. It's like the bitch had boob joke where it's like they say the recipe to Sprite is lemon and lime. I've tried to bake it at home. There's more to it.
Yeah, that's pretty good. What about you, Andrew?
I was always a sucker for the Gatorade Reigns, like those ones, because
Really?
Yeah.
I never really messed with those. I don't
Gatorade
know.
Lime Rain was my favorite by far. I love lemon lime though. Not gonna complain about that. Like that's a classic, but
I can tell that both of you are classy individuals because you said the specific flavor.
yeah,
I always go with color.
Yeah.
I'm like blue. I like blue. I'm like, what is it? It's blue.
That's the problem. There's like 5 different blue Gatorades. Like you have to specify.
Light blue.
Like
Light
Gatorade
blue is what I
connoisseur.
want. You know what I mean? Like, but I won't be mad if you come back with any shade of blue. Mm-hmm. Now, once it starts to go purple, okay, no. Which I'm starting to believe that my daughter is colorblind.
Really?
Because we've been going to like. We've been looking at like cars and stuff because she's about to turn 16, and we were driving through this used car lot the other day, and she's like, "I like that green one," and I was like, "That's as gray can be." Like it was the color of your shorts, and she's like,
Yeah.
"No, it's such a cute green," and I was like, "Oh man,
Uh-oh.
your world is so much different."
What if it's like that like picture on the internet, like what color is the dress, and
Oh yeah,
she's like, it's green. It's like that's no one's option.
yeah. It's either blue or black
Yeah.
or white, or was it white and gold or whatever?
Yeah.
And she's like, "I see green and orange." I was
Yeah,
like, what?
it's like what?
What? Yeah, it looks like a carrot to me. I was like, what? Who are you? She did. There was one day pretty recently where she was trying to describe to me, Dad, I'm older. I'm more responsible now. I could probably honestly, you guys could leave and I could take care of myself for a couple days. And while she said it, she was eating ice cream with a fork. And I was like, yeah.
Survivalist, you know?
I mean, I guess she's making it work.
Yeah.
Then I did point that out to her, and she did say, well, none of the spoons are clean. I'm like, well, you could clean them. You know, you could wash it. It doesn't take any time to wash a spoon. Maybe 20 seconds. But you went with fork. Okay. Improvise, adapt, and overcome. What's the best concert you've ever been to? Are you a concert man?
I've only been to one concert. It was I saw Jay-Z at the pageant.
That's not what I was going to expect you to say. But that's pretty awesome.
But yeah, no, it was either I'm pretty sure it was the pageant, but I was like 9 or 10, so I really don't remember.
Okay.
But,
I'm not a big concert person myself.
Yeah.
I was going to think that you went to like Talking Heads, REO Speedwagon. I could see Third Eye Blind, maybe.
Yeah.
Like I could see Teal. Like if you were like, "There's one concert I'm going to, it's gonna be," I don't know. But then to hear you say Jay-Z, I was like, "Oh, all right."
that was a family decision. Like I mean, I liked Jay-Z at the time, but it was just like I was mostly just there because like my family was with me.
Just there because you had to be, yeah.
Yeah, like I mean, it could have easily been like it's like you're going to Jay-Z, okay, Elton John and Billy Joel are coming, like,
and hear me out, guys.
Hear me out. But yeah, no, it was that's the only concert I've been to, and then like we had to. The biggest part I remember was like we had to leave because it started smelling like weed.
Oh.
Like people started just smoking.
Yeah, yeah.
And then we were just like, we have to go, and I'm like, okay. Like
I feel like that's any concert you go to nowadays.
Oh, yeah.
I've only been to like 3 concerts in my entire life, and I remember that was like the first time I ever smelled weed. I was like, "What is that?" And I was at a concert. Like it was at a. Oh, I can't even remember what concert it was, but I remember just being like, "That smells weird. What is that?"
it's not exactly cigarettes.
Yeah, it smells like smoke, but like a weird smoke. What about you?
I'm gonna go with 100 Gex. This will be an unpopular decision, but their concerts are just like insane amount of energy.
What is it?
100 Gex. They are
100 gex.
Yeah.
Like geckos?
I'm pretty sure that's what it's short for.
Okay, all right.
They're very like internet, like very new age. They're best described as like hyper pop. And actually, they're both from St. Louis. Both of the duo are from St. Louis, Kirkwood and Webster, I believe. But the best I've seen them described as, I think like Forbes or like some music magazine or something described them as it's like listening to someone throw up into a kaleidoscope. And I was like, "Yep, that's it."
That's man. If I had to describe my taste in music, like if someone could throw up into a kaleidoscope, that's pretty awesome. That's a great. I mean, I don't not want to go to the concert now. I would check it out.
Yeah, it's insane. They usually come like once or twice, like once a year, because they're from here. I've seen the pageant a couple times now. Saw them at the Ready Room for the first time. They did like a Christmas show there, which was awesome, right before the pandemic. Yeah, they're great, but more of like a Zoomer band, I would say. Like younger kids like that. People like my age and older are like, this is too much. Like, turn this off.
Okay, all right, I like it. I'd check it out. Shout out 100 gex.
Oh yeah.
So what if it was
Gex.
Oh, is that what everybody does? Yeah. What if they actually are geckos? Like the duo is just 50 geckos in like a human suit, you know? Like, that's why the music sounds different, you know what I mean? Like
they got 100 on this one.
To us, we're like, it's not bad, but it's weird. And the geckos are just like,
It's like sponsored by Geico for some reason.
yeah.
We're making money, baby.
Let's go. Best seats at a baseball game.
So I rarely sit there. That's the thing.
I know. I feel like as soon as I was like putting these together, I was like, I don't know if these are the guys to ask about this because I don't know if Tiel goes to baseball games and you go to every baseball game, but you never sit and watch.
No.
You're selling beer, so
Yeah.
I don't.
I've gotten a lot of good views of the stadium, though. I personally, when I'm buying tickets, like I buy them way up top. Like I don't.
Oh
I don't
yeah,
care.
yeah. That's what I do.
And that's where I first started working was on the top floor, so that's what I'm used to. But I've never sat in the green seats before, like behind the plate. Like that's where I'd want to sit, just because like I've never been there. And that's like all like you got the server and all like all you can eat, all you can drink stuff back there, and you're on TV, you know, for a lot of time. That'd be cool.
Would you be able to relax if you went to a game and you weren't working?
Absolutely not. No,
Because
not a
you'd
home
see
game.
all your friends and stuff like that.
I always feel like I should be doing something when I'm there. Like they'll every once in a while, like you'll win an award and get to go to a game for free, but I'm like, I could be making money right now. Like, what am I doing? You know?
I just feel like it'd be weird. Like, you know how like when you go into like your work, just on your day off, and
Yeah.
you see all your friends working, and you kind of like, I feel like I
Yeah,
should be doing
that's
something.
the- yeah, people
I'm
would
sorry,
see
guys.
Yeah, it
Like-
would be disorienting. I can only really go to games out of town. Really, like that's the only time I can go and sit and
Oh,
actually like
wow.
relax. So
Yeah, I never thought about that before. Do you ever, when you go to a different stadium, do you ever like, hey, I'm in the biz.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like
they just know. They know when I walk in.
Like-
They're like this guy, and he sells beer.
I don't want to tell you to do your job, but like at Busch Stadium, I'm just saying we just pay more attention to Section 305. You know
Oh,
what I'm
yeah.
saying? You know,
There's
you're
a
just
little
like
more, yeah.
you're giving them advice and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, you get in a fight with the Wrigley Field
Yeah.
beer guys. It's like,
You guys are a bunch of rookies up here.
yeah. Oh, I've got a wall made out of ivy.
Look at my beer snake. It's so long. Like,
Yeah.
oh, cool. You guys have cups you can make stuff out of.
So this is why Chicago sucks.
Okay, best hot dog toppings. Are we hot dog people?
Oh, yeah.
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 I've been known to gobble a glizzy or two in my day.
I'm not. They're not my favorite food, but if I'm summertime or at a baseball game, I'm like, you got to.
Oh, yeah.
You
totally.
got to. I don't know. What are you going with for? My layout would be pretzel bun if available,
Right.
a decent size dog. I don't want a brat; they're too
Too
thick.
big, too big.
I like a good, you know, trying to not say wiener, but I like a, you know, sometimes you need a good wiener.
You do.
You know.
Yeah.
But then ketchup, maybe. Well, actually, no ketchup. We're gonna go honey mustard
Ooh.
and jalapenos.
Okay.
If I had to do it, that's how I would do it personally. What about you?
I think I'm just gonna base off of Steve's hot dogs. That's where I probably get the most crazy hot dogs at. My favorite one there is the bacon Jamaican.
I think I've had that one. Yeah,
like
yeah.
bacon wrapped hot dogs are probably my go-to. Onions on there, jalapenos.
I didn't even
There's,
think
like,
about
barbecue
bacon
sauce.
wrapped.
Yeah. Yeah.
You already beaten me.
And for me, I'm again also basing it off Steve's, but what I usually get there is like just a regular dog with like there's smoked pepper and mustard. They
Oh,
have,
yeah.
like,
Oh yeah.
and then like shredded cheddar on it.
Ooh, shredded cheddar. That's a good one. I think
Mm-hmm.
shredded cheddar on a hot dog is better than like melted. Like sometimes they just put like a crap, not Steve's, but sometimes places put like just like a slice of cheese
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
and then
it's like-
melt it. No.
No,
Shredded
no,
cheddar is the
shredded,
way to
yeah.
go, for sure. Okay, man, both of you kind of smoked me on that, but that's all right.
I do work in a hot dog adjacent industry, so
Yeah, I was about to say, you're a bit of a professional at these
Yeah.
things. I was gonna say just recently I found out that putting ketchup on a hot dog is like
Really?
a big faux pas. Like,
Yeah, I think I've
especially
heard
in
that.
Chicago. They're like, oh, you put
Yeah.
ketchup on a hot dog? And it's like, yeah, so does everyone, you know? I don't know. Any opinions on the Chicago dog?
I do like Chicago dogs. I don't like Chicago's opinions at all, but
No.
you know, I do like a Chicago style dog. Like they have a lot of good hot dogs places up there for sure.
Oh no. When I saw a whole pickle spear
Yeah,
on
I
it,
don't
the
like
pickle was as long as the hot dog. I was like,
Yeah.
nah, no, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a big ketchup guy like at all.
Oh, really?
So it's like I get it, but also it's like let people have their fun. You know what I mean?
Let them eat cake.
Let them eat cake. I'm not a huge. Yeah, I've never been a big ketchup guy, mostly because it's the same reason I won't get sauce on pizza.
Really? Okay. So
Yeah.
you're dough cheese
Raw dog in that.
toppings? Okay.
Yeah, but if they have like olive oil, like I'll sub that. But most of the time it's like no sauce because like I don't know something about tomato sauce makes me just violently ill. Like
I realized early on there's a very big difference between ketchup, tomato sauce, and tomato paste.
Mm-hmm.
And tomato paste makes me like, it's so thick and just
Yeah.
what. Have you ever had a white pie?
I have, but I kind of I moved away from those two because like too much milk, you know.
Okay.
Like
Yeah. It's heavy.
it's very heavy. Like it's like so if I am going to get like a base on a pizza, it'd be like olive oil because like that's like it's easy. Like
The reason I brought it up is not the only one, but a white pie I had was like olive oil and then like ricotta cheese and garlic or something like that on it. But it it can be pretty good. It can be all right. What would you say is the best condiment though? Like, so you're not a ketchup guy. Are you a ranch guy or mustard or hot sauce? If you had to pick the best condiment.
I love a good I love a good mustard. You know, like
Is there anyone in particular, like a honey mustard, or you like the seeds in it?
I like honey mustard's probably my favorite. But like if there's like you know sometimes they'll have a honey Dijon mustard.
Oh yeah,
Like if they combine those, like oh my god,
chef's kiss.
Oh,
Yeah.
man. But I'd put, but like as far as like condiments of all time, it's probably be salt for me.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah,
But-
because salt and pepper are technically
Yeah,
they list them as
that's one of those things. It splits the world. It can be in both worlds of an ingredient and a condiment.
yeah, like,
You know what I mean?
yeah, because it's like. Yeah, because it's like, and then also it's they're also like technically spices too, so you kind of figure about that too, and then it's like,
When does something stop being an ingredient and start being a condiment?
that's a good question.
I think it depends on when you apply it. You
Yeah.
know? Like if it's
Okay.
already on there,
Yeah, I
it's
usually
an ingredient.
If it's mixed in the cooking process,
it's an
ingredient. If it's added once the meal is done, condiment.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. That's why I say salt and pepper are condiments because I usually put them on. I 100% of the time put them on after the meal, like after the thing.
Food is ready.
Food
Yeah.
is ready. Yeah.
Do you taste first just to make sure, or are you like,
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
I know I'm gonna need.
Sometimes I'll taste, but most of the time it's just like I know for a fact they don't have enough salt on it, so I just put it on.
Makes sense. Do you do that with sugar too? Are you a sugar? Will you add sugar to ice cream or cereal or something?
As a kid, I did that with cereal,
Yeah.
but then I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I've always been more of a salty.
I like salty and savory way more than
Way more than
sweet.
sweet.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. That's I should have known that from a man who drinks black coffee. A real man's man, like Grizzly Adams.
Yeah, I'm out chopping wood and making black coffee.
That's that's what Tiel was doing. You were sitting down eating tacos.
Yeah.
He was just, carving away. He made a really beautiful Native American out of a tree stump. It was like
It's really tasteful.
it is. It was. It was not.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay. All right,
not
that
offensive
fizzled.
at all.
I don't know. Okay, best comedy weekend you could imagine. If you could pick any headliner to work with, and then let's just pretend, all right, you're hosting, you get to pick a feature, and you get to pick a headliner, and it's, 6 shows plus hanging out in the green room. Who would you want to hang out with? Like, who would you pick for your weekend?
I would go with Eric Andre. I feel like he'd be the most fun to be on a show with.
It would be the wildest,
Yeah,
for sure.
absolutely.
I think I would be. My anxiety would be like, what's he gonna do? Like, what's he gonna?
No, that's
He at any moment a bear could walk through the door. You know.
That's what makes him great. Yeah, you never know what's coming with that guy. And yeah, just like the intensity he performs with too on stage. Like, it's like, how do you? I just can't fathom how he has that much energy.
Okay, so is he featuring or headlining?
I would have him headline.
Okay, all right, and who's gonna feature for you?
Bo Burnham.
Whoa, that's a crazy show.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really make any sense, but I feel like it'd be a lot of fun.
I think it actually does. I bet you on the Venn diagram, there's a lot of people that like Bo Burnham that also like Eric Andre because it's different.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's not. It's different. That's the only way I can
unique,
say.
For sure. Yeah.
I was like, maybe I should choose a different word. That might sound disrespectful, but
no, they're
no,
definitely
that it's different. It is very different.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still good.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I think you'd fit in well with that.
Yeah, I think
misdirect and puns and stuff like that.
I could
think,
host that.
Yeah,
Totally host that.
What about you, Teal?
Oh boy, I've had time to think about it, because I have thought about that sometimes. Let's just like wonder what would be my favorite hosting weekend would be, and I'd probably say I'm hosting. I want to say, and it could be interchangeable, but I think like Patton Oswalt and Maria Bamford.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that would be a fun one.
Yeah.
That would be a good group. He's coming to Flyover, too, right?
Yes, he is, yeah. And I'm looking forward to seeing that.
Yeah, maybe you get to...
Maybe I'll do this soon.
Dream becomes reality.
Manifesting.
It's on my vision board.
Yes.
That's a good one.
Yeah, and because, like, I feel like their sensibilities are very similar to mine. Like, I feel like, and I feel like it could be interchangeable. So whoever wanted to feature a headline, like
Right.
It really wouldn't matter in the great scheme of things because like we're all similar but different, you know.
Well, I think that in this scenario, the reason I ask it is because I know other comics have probably thought of it before.
Yeah.
But the reason I ask it is because it's your fantasy world. You guys want to add where you would want to perform too? Because that would be, that could be cool.
Yeah.
But anyway, the reason I ask it is because it's like, well, even if they were like in real life, they're like, no, I have to headline a show. You know what I mean? It's like, no, this is your world. And you can be like, no, you're featuring tonight. You're doing 25 minutes and not a minute more. You know, you get to yell at one of your comedy heroes. No.
Yeah, I would say my dream is to perform at Busch Stadium. I think.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if
Mine
a comedian's
too.
ever done it before, but like that would I want to be the first comedian to perform at a sold out Busch Stadium. That'd be
That
sick.
would be awesome.
That would be a dream.
I've always wanted to perform there, even if it was like just like a, I don't know, 5-minute set in between musical acts or something while a band gets set up. Like that would be wild. Although, so you've probably worked concerts at Busch
Yeah.
Stadium before, but I was thinking about this the last time I went to one, and I forgot who we were there to see, but most people show up around the time the main act, the headliner, whatever of the night is going to be on, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the first couple opening acts go out to a pretty empty stadium. And so you know how it feels when, say you do a comedy club and it seats 300 and there's 40 people there and it feels pretty empty. Now extrapolate that. So like you're pouring to Busch Stadium, which seats what, 50, 60,000, something like
concerts,
that.
Yeah, they can put people on the field.
It seats 60,000, but there's 500 people there. I bet you it feels pretty empty. Even with 500 people, I bet you're like,
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. I mean, I'll get there pretty early sometimes because like some people do show up for those early acts,
Right.
and it's easier to get around. But yeah, there's like especially like country concerts, I don't like you have your big headliner, and then you got just like people that aren't even on the list or the billing or whatever. Yeah, it's really small for those guys, but
I mean, it's like still 600 people.
Yeah.
Which, you know, is not a small group of people.
not at all. Yeah,
But in that
they're
size
just all
of a
spread out.
Yeah, you're like, okay.
I mean, we were just talking about this on the elevator too, like with the Cardinals' attendance being so low. It's like, there's still 28,000 people there, but it just because you're used to it being 50,000, it looks so empty.
Yeah.
And it's still a lot of people though.
Yeah, still, 27,000 people.
That's a lot of people.
That's more than the people that live in my hometown. You know what I mean? But they're like, oh man, there's only 27. Oh man, we're not doing so well. It's like if any of us got to ever perform in front of 27,000 people, I would be doing backflips backstage. I would just be like, oh my gosh, this is so awesome.
Absolutely,
You know what I mean?
Totally.
But I guess that's the difference between professional baseball and stand-up comedy.
That's one of very few differences right there, though.
It's mostly the same. Yeah.
If I did that weekend, for some strange reason, I want it to be in the main stage of the Improv Shop.
All right. Yeah.
I like that. Yeah.
I love the vibes there.
I feel like it's just big enough to be like a show, but just small enough where it's like not where it's not overstimulating or anything.
Right. Yeah, I like that though. I do like a small so yes, I would love to perform at Busch Stadium, but also a small room with a low ceiling and the laughs are like big, you know?
Yeah.
That would be pretty awesome. I haven't been to the Improv Shop main room in a very long time, but what is that seat like?
Maybe like 100.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, there's a place in Nashville that I used to do shows at a lot, and its max capacity was like 95, 100 maybe. And if it was packed, it was so much fun because it was like, boom, you know, it was so loud. The pops were so loud, but not like overwhelming. I don't know. So yeah, that's pretty good. I would have never thought of Maria Bamford and Patton Oswalt on the same show. That'd be a lot of fun.
Oh yeah.
And then just to throw it out there. Guest set, Zach Galifianakis.
Guest set, that would be awesome. Can you
sick.
imagine how crazy the crowd would go?
The crowd would lose their mind, especially at the Improv Shop.
Yeah, he rolls out a piano.
Yeah, he rolls out a piano. Yeah, it's like they already have like a piano there, so like he didn't have to bring his own or anything.
So speaking of guest set, 2 weeks ago I was at Funny Bone, and it was Andy Hamilton was hosting. I was featuring. And Taylor Williamson was headlining, and Rafe popped in. Rafe Williams, local St. Louis guy, very funny comic, doing all kinds of stuff. Popped in for a guest set because he had something he was taping, right? And so he's like, hey, can I just do like 7 minutes? I got something I want to practice. They're like, yeah, absolutely. Goes up, kills it. I'm standing in the back of the room. Andy Hamilton's up there. He's like, hey, guys, we got another special treat for you. He's a bit of a comedy legend like that. And I was like, well, that's a hell of an intro for me. And he goes, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Yakov Smirnoff, everybody. And I was like, wait, what? That's not my name like that. And I look, and he just walks right by me, gets up on stage, and just murders for like 10 minutes. And I was like, this is awesome. Yakov Smirnoff's here,
Yeah.
And then it very quickly hit me like, I have to follow Yakov Smirnoff. He killed for 10 minutes, and I have to go do 25 now. And so he gets off stage, and Andy goes back up there, and he's like, all right, guys, that was a lot of fun. Yakov Smirnoff. And the crowd's just like losing their minds. And he's like, all right, let's keep it going for your feature of the evening. Give it up for Eric Russler. And I swear the crowd went silent, and I heard somebody go, who? And I was like,
in Soviet Russia.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay.
I thought about being like, because he did a whole bunch of like, oh, I'm Russian, and
Yeah.
So I thought about going up there and be like, I'm Ukrainian, I hate that guy. And I was like, I don't really know him that well.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't want to. I was like, guys, just give it up for Yakov.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was that was a comedy lesson. That was definitely a lesson. Like when you follow someone super famous, you got to just let people be excited about them for a minute.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? Because I went in and tried to like, well, I'm funny too. Bam, 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 bam. And hit them with jokes. And it's like, most of them were still like, can you believe Yakov was here? Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And I should have just like slowly got eased into it, But yeah, it was fun. It's a good time. So shout out Yakov.
I ran into him at Helium this past weekend, and it's like, I'm usually not afraid to go up to people, but like, for some reason I didn't want to bother him. He seemed like a nice guy, but I just didn't want to be like, hey, can I knew he probably would have been cool with it, but I just...
Well, I got to talk to him for a little bit that night when he was at Helium. And he's very cool, very nice, and he would have gladly taken a picture, but I know exactly what you mean.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's been so many comedians that I've seen that I'm like, oh, man, like, oh, okay, all right, just be cool. Like, I got to do Zanies one night, and I was in the green room, and Nate Bargatze walked in, and I was like, yeah, just be cool. Whatever, Nate's here. What's up, man?
Yeah.
But I was going to leave at one point, and my jacket was folded up, and it was like in the corner on the ground, and he was like standing on it.
Uh-huh.
And so I was like, oh no, what do I just like stood there for like 10 minutes, like, well, maybe he'll move. And, like, I don't want to bother him. And then eventually I just went up and was like, hey, I'm sorry, can I grab my jacket? And he was like, oh yeah. And I just got it, and I was like,
Thank God.
just like, oh, his feet smell like, oh, it smells like clean comedy.
Never washing this again.
Even his feet are clean.
Like running into Yakov was like, I was like, he's at Helium. Like,
Yeah.
like it was such an interesting experience. Where it's like, and then it's like, I wanted to tell him like one of my favorite jokes is a Yakov Smirnoff joke. He says, there are things I had to get used to here in America, like warning shots.
That's so good.
That's so
such a
funny.
good joke.
That's so funny.
Yeah, he told it on Carson, and like Johnny just fell out of his chair.
I bet. He's writing new material, and he's been running around town testing it out, and he's got that show in Branson.
Mm-hmm.
And man, I don't know if this is like new material that he's doing, but I hadn't heard it before, and he is hitting hard.
Yeah.
He is murdering, and it's like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
all right, Yakov still got it.
Yeah.
All right,
He's like 75 now. He doesn't look like it either.
I know he's He's up there. Not to be disrespectful, but he doesn't look like it. He looks. I mean,
I was in the garage watching Tiel and Corey's show with Pat House, and he walked in, and I was literally on the Wikipedia page for Yakov Smirnoff, like looking up stuff. Like, oh no, close it! Oh, sorry, I'm not spying on you. Yeah, it was so surreal that he just walks in, watches some of the show, kind of like laughs a little bit, walks out. I was like.
It would have been funny if he would have seen it and been like, "Are you Googling me?" And be like, "No, this is just my home screen. This is my
my background on my phone.
Yeah, right.
My background is the Wikipedia.
A little edgy, a little out there, you know.
Yeah, like I like comedy. Okay,
Yeah.
I don't know if I don't know if you've ever worked in a restaurant, but what do you think is the best part to work in? Front of house, like dealing with the customers, or back of house, dealing with kitchen staff and washing dishes and cooking food?
The back is way more fun for sure. Yeah, I mean, just mayhem back there.
100%.
If you can handle the pressure, it's fine. Out front, and I'm used to it. I mean, I can work out front a lot easier because I do basically that at Busch Stadium. But like, yeah, you're dealing with people out front, and you have to be, oh yes, like everything is right that you're saying, even if they're saying like the most ridiculous shit you've ever heard in your life. Like, you have to agree with them.
I was just thinking, you're kind of a hybrid. You're kind of like the day walker.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because you have to run back of house, stock up on beer, and then run out to the front and deal with the customer, which is kind of, I guess that's just what front of house does at every job. But like, I agree. Back of house is definitely like, it's not glamorous. No. There's no glory. It's rough. It's stressful, but it's way more fun.
Oh, absolutely.
Way more fun.
Yeah,
100%. And I had to find that. I had to find photos that like suggested that. Like, I found this, and it was like, I googled front of house, and I found like a bunch of waiters smiling and stuff like that. Right. And then I googled back of house, and it showed a bunch of like happy chefs with knives, and was like, that's fake. Mm-hmm. That's not real. So I had to scroll until I found like a sweaty man with a fire in front of him, like table 7 needs scallops. You know,
fire everything now.
Fire 57 fries 28, like that.
Yeah.
Like, have you ever seen The Bear?
No, absolutely. Yeah, we did a bear sketch for our last show. Actually,
did you?
We called it the Geese.
The Geese.
It was basically like a kitchen, but they're cooking up jokes. So yeah, it was a lot of fun to do.
Hands. Jazz hands.
Yeah.
Everybody just sticks their hands in like that.
Yeah, we had like different chefs, like closer chef, pun chef. Stuff like that went up and down the line. It's like, that's not good. Refired. Reduce. Like,
I need a misdirect, chef.
Yeah.
Yes, chef.
Need a premise. No, stop making premises. Do not stop making premises, everyone.
I'm not fully caught up on it yet, but there was one episode in the first season where they forgot to turn off the online order thing.
Yeah, that's what
and so they turn it on they like turn the computer on in the morning, and it's like just like non-stop orders coming in. That gave me so much anxiety because just working in the back of a restaurant before and hearing that order print off, and you're like, oh, another one? Yeah. Oh, another one? And it's like you get 5 in a row and it stops, you know? And you're like, 5 sandwiches? I have to make 5 sandwiches? And then to have 500, it's just like, what? How do I do?
Just keeps going. Yeah, my first job was at Chick-Fil-A in the mall. And they start you in the back because that's how you familiarize yourself with the menu. I was 16 years old. Everyone in the back was... like green card people from Mexico who, like, spoke Spanish, which was awesome for me because I was learning Spanish at the time. So we just spoke Spanish in the back, like a very Spanglish version, but they call me Andresito, which is like Andy but in Spanish, which I'll accept in Spanish but not in English. You can't call me Andy in English, just sidebar. But anyways,
don't do it.
Don't. But anyways, they'd always be like, and Andresito, hey, how many girls you with this week? I was like, 100 million or whatever. And they're like, yeah. I had no idea what I was saying. But it's just shit like that. But we also had we didn't have like a receipt printer. We just had like a screen that had like different orders on it, and they would like have like, you know, when it comes right in, it's like green, and then when it's like a minute and a half, it turns to yellow, and then after 2 minutes, it turns to red. So like that would just trigger my anxiety. It's like, we got all red up here, like. You fucking fire all the chicken sandwiches right now, chefs. Like,
That's so funny, dude. The fact that it was Chick-Fil-A,
Yeah.
and like knowing front of house is like, well, hi y'all,
Yeah.
welcome to Chick-Fil-A.
Yeah.
Oh, my pleasure. I'd love to get you a sweet tea. And in the back, it's like, hey, pinche gringo, you know, like that. Yeah.
It was fun. I definitely enjoyed it though. It was way more fun in the back. Out front, you had to be like, my pleasure. It's like when they want like lemonade that you better make the lemonade fresh right now. It's like, what? Like, I know how much that's gonna take.
So one of the restaurants, and I won't say which one, but when you go to the Funny Bone at Westport, you go up the escalator, there is a Chinese restaurant, right? And I don't know, I guess I just told people exactly how to get to it so they can figure out what I'm talking about, but whatever. I don't know if you know this, but if you go down that hall by the Playhouse, there's directions to get to a bathroom, but you actually go in the back of this restaurant. So like you walk by the kitchen and you walk by everything, and you have to go by like the manager's office to get to these like secret bathrooms, right? But it's so funny because it's a Chinese food place. But you go in the back and it's all Spanish, Spanish music. The front of the house is like traditional Chinese, like, you know, with the string harp kind of music or whatever. But in the back, it's like, una palabra, no dice nada. Like that, you know, it's like, you know, it's like the saddest Mexican music you've ever. And it's just like 6 guys yelling while like doing a stir fry, you know.
Fuego todo, ahora.
Pollo con ores, let's go. Best comedy movie of the early 2000s.
I mean, you have Superbad up there. That's a classic. That was like my senior year of high school. Superbad came out. It was like, yeah, that was we were quoting that every day, all day.
Yeah, I think that came out when I was a junior.
Okay.
And it was, I mean, that was one of the first times I'd ever been to a movie where I laughed so hard it hurt. You know, like it hurt my stomach and the back of my head. But there's so many good movies. The more you think about the movies that came out in the early 2000s,
Oh yeah.
the more you're like, oh, damn, that one's in there too? Oh, man, that one's in there? So, like, it was so hard to find pictures for this slide because
There's so many.
Yeah.
there's so many to put on there.
Yeah.
And so it's like, all right, I tried to get some, like a different spread. Team America World Police might be one of my favorites
I love that,
of
yeah.
all time, but also Tropic Thunder and Knocked Up and Mean Girls. Next Friday after next. I thought the original Friday was in there.
95.
You're right. Yep. So it doesn't count. But anyway, I don't know. From 2000 to like 2009 time frame, some bangers.
Oh yeah.
The Hangover. I forgot about that.
Hangover.
Yeah.
Pineapple Express is on there. I love that
I
one.
forgot about that one. Yeah.
For me, it'd probably be Anchorman for me.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, first Anchorman, which it made me so. It hurt to see like 2004. I was like, it's 20 years ago.
I didn't even think about that. Oh, why did you do that to me?
I'm sorry. Now everyone must know my pain. But it's just like Anchorman was one of those movies where it's just like every line of it is a quote. Like everything everybody said in that movie was funny. Like
I think I think back to that time frame, and it was everybody was San Diego. It means a whale's vagina. You know, like that was a
just like and it was like endless, like just. But yeah, there was one summer, I think it was like 2007, 2008, where I saw in no particular order, Tropic Thunder, Pineapple Express, and Step Brothers.
Oh,
all within the same like summer.
That's it. That is a knockout summer.
And I'm just like, what a time to be alive.
This is the peak of human civilization. We've done it.
Did you just my drum set?
I'm gonna rub my nutsack all over your drum set. I think one of my favorite lines from Anchorman is they're all sitting down talking about Ron, you're spending too much time with this girl. You know, you're not hanging out with the news team anymore. They're like, Brick's a mess, and they're like, right, Brick or whatever. And he's drinking something. He goes, I just burned my tongue. I do that all the time, especially if I'm drinking something cold and someone goes, right? I'll be like, I just burned my tongue like that. I love that. Dude, it's so subtle. Steve Carell, I think, is probably the best part of that movie.
Yeah.
Which is hard to say because Will Ferrell's obviously great, but he steals the scene
every
time.
Like, even like in the fight scene, I just killed a guy with a trident. He's
Yeah.
like, yeah, you did. I saw that.
Yeah, you might want to lay low, go stay with some family for a while.
I had a hand grenade.
It's like, where'd you get a hand grenade? I don't know.
I don't know. Where'd you get your pants? The toilet store? And Vince Vaughn's like, even the guy that can't think said something.
He's just killing it.
Oh, that's such a good movie. So Team America, one of my favorite jokes in the whole thing is they send Gary undercover into the terrorist bar, and then he and the terrorists like go out the back door or whatever, and the puppet with the minigun goes in, and she's like, Gary? And like 40 terrorists pull out like rifles and guns and stuff like that, just like all over, and she just mows them all down, and then as soon as everybody's dead, she just goes, Gary? Like that.
Like nothing happened.
Like nothing happened. Oh, it's so funny, man. I forget, every time I watch that, I'm like, oh, I forgot about this part.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. So that's a hard one. That is such a hard to narrow it down to just one from that area or that era. I was talking to my daughter about this, and she said Mean Girls, and we rewatched it recently.
Mm-hmm.
It is hilarious.
Yeah, it holds up.
It is so funny, and they remade it. Did you see that?
Yeah,
it's crap.
I bet. Yeah,
it's garbage.
Yeah, and they have like a Broadway musical or something like that now too. Yeah,
I don't know.
Overdoing it.
I do. So speaking of musicals, I really want to go see Book of Mormon.
Oh yeah.
And I can't convince anybody to go see it with me.
Really?
Like we were last year, we were on vacation, and I told my wife, I was like, "Oh, Book of Mormon is playing. You want to go see it?" She's like, "No." I'm like, come on. Like I could not convince her.
Yeah.
I was like, it's a musical about being Mormon. And she was like, no. I was like, yeah, but it's by the guys who made South Park. And she's like, still no.
Bigger no.
Yeah. She's like, harder no. I was like, oh. I was so disappointed. Do you do plays or anything like that? No?
Not really into it. I mean, but I would totally see the Book of Mormon, though. Absolutely see that.
Speaking of musical comedy, I forgot one that to this day is one of my favorite comedies. Not just from the early 2000s, but all time.
Mm-hmm.
Walk Hard.
Oh, that's it. See, that's another great one from the early 2000s.
That's like 2007. And it's just like, but then it's just like, again, another one of those movies where like everything is funny. Like, you don't want none of this, do we? Like,
get out of here!
Get out of here! It's like, what if I get it? You don't want none of this pot. What if I get addicted to it?
You can't get addicted to it. Oh, well, what if it gives me? I don't want to get a hangover. You can't get a hangover. Well, it's not super expensive, is it? It's the cheapest drug there is.
Everything Tim Meadows says.
Oh, he's one of the best parts of Mean Girls.
Yes, absolutely. Totally.
He's so funny in Mean Girls. He's like, I will keep you here all night. We can't keep him past 3. I will keep you here until 3.
I loved him in Walk Hard. You never once paid for drugs.
Yeah.
Not once.
And you never once paid for drugs.
I love he said it like 3 or 4 times.
It's an It's an intervention, and everybody's like, and you treat us like crap, and you don't pay us, and you never once paid for drugs.
Not once.
I love that part where he's having the machete fight with his brother.
Yeah.
And he chops his brother in half, and his brother's on the ground like, Dewey, listen, I've been halved pretty bad. All right?
Solid pun.
It's just so funny.
So this is funny about Tim Meadows. Tiel lives in a neighborhood called Hidden Meadows. So we always joke, well, it's Hidden Meadow, but I always thought it was Hidden Meadow. So we always joke that, like, there's no meadow there at all. So I'm like, is this just called Hidden Meadows because Tim Meadows is just hiding here somewhere? And, like, me and Teal are going to find him or something. He's like, you got me.
Well, no wonder you haven't seen it because it's hidden.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you know?
How much exploring have you done?
Not much.
What if it's like a secret garden type situation where, like, you open a cabinet in Teal's house and all of a sudden there's it leads to a meadow.
There's a meadow.
It's like the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
Yeah, it's like Narnia, but no fort, just meadow.
Just a meadow,
Just
or like
a meadow, and then Tim Meadows is there.
Yeah.
He's just sipping a cup of coffee. Like, you open the door and he just looks up and he's like, and you go, "Oh, sorry, sorry, I didn't mean to."
You don't want none of this meadow. That's quoting lines.
And then, but then your mom opens the door. He's like, "Oh, it's a lady."
Yeah, Bips.
Oh man, the ladies, man, that was one of those comedies that I didn't see. I guess I was too young when it came out, so like I didn't see it. And then I watched it years later, and I was like, "This is hilarious.
Oh yeah,
this is so funny." And I feel like it's slept on.
Yeah, it's underrated for sure.
I feel like it got eclipsed by like Night at the Roxbury and Superstar.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Kind of like we're up here, and then it got slept on. You know, but it's one of those ones where it deserves more than a second look.
Oh, totally.
You know what I mean? If you go to a new like city, what's the best way to kill time? Are you like a museum person, walk around botanical gardens, go to the zoo, find a cool restaurant? What is the best way to kill time in your opinion if you're in somewhere new?
I'd say museum for sure. Like if it's a nice, like big city, nice museum and stuff. I mean, that's everywhere I was going in Europe, like hopping. I'd go to a different museum every day, and it'd be pretty cool.
Okay.
Always like art stuff to look at too. It's like, oh, you can't really see this anywhere else. And you can just kill so much time in a museum, like depending on what you want to do there. Like,
right.
So immersive.
Yeah, I went to Bentonville, Arkansas.
Okay.
And they have that Crystal Bridges Museum where like they have like this. It's this huge museum, like, and they have that's like a cafe in there too. Like, they have all sorts of.
They only serve Crystal Pepsi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Very 90s.
Yeah.
Crystal Pepsi.
The last place on earth you can get it.
Yeah.
What do they have at the museum that was just kind of cool?
Well, it was just. I mean, it's kind of like a lot of museums, like there's a lot of art, but like it's just so. It's like the biggest museum I've ever seen. Like it's,
really?
Yeah, like it's I don't know if it's as tall as the city museum, but like kind of like there's about as much exploration space as the city museum, I think.
I bet. That sounds pretty cool. I was gonna say what type of museum is your favorite? Are you doing like natural history? Are you doing art museum, science museum? Like there's always like, you know, I didn't realize how broad of a term museum is, because some of them are like attractions, like you said, like the city museum here in St. Louis is fantastic.
Yeah, everything.
But you're not going to learn anything, like, you know, except for maybe like the history of chess, because I think they have a chess exhibit or something. But I don't know. I like art museums.
I mean, that was cool.
They're pretty cool. Natural history can be fun.
Mm-hmm.
Like and you know, obviously Science Museum. I don't like the zoo. Zoos always make me sad.
Yeah.
But also art museums can make you sad too.
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever see a painting and you're like, oh,
Yeah,
you're just like, oh.
yeah. I was in Amsterdam, and like a lot of the artwork there was from like the colonial times and stuff, and like it would be, I mean, they're depicting like massacres and stuff at the colonies, and
Right.
of course, like the royal family or whoever's commissioning the painting wants it to make them look good, but that was kind of how the artists, you know, got their word out and like hit
Yeah.
back at the establishment, was being honest about what was going on in the painting and stuff like that. But you look at it, you're like, oh wow, that's so sad, because like the Dutch were like before the English, and they were, I feel like, extra bad. So it's like, oh no.
Well,
like,
the Dutch, I hope I'm not getting this wrong, but I've heard that the Dutch invented the slave trade. Like,
yeah.
they were the ones who were like, hey, we could just take these people and it'll make us money, you know?
Yeah.
And so it's like, ugh.
Yeah, so it was kind of rough looking at some of that stuff. But I mean, at least they're honest about it, like putting it out there. Like, hey, this is part of our history, so got to deal with the good and the bad.
Unlike Germany, where they're like, nothing happened.
Nothing.
Nothing happened.
A big fire. It's all gone.
Yeah,
Sorry.
well, Y2K.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
I deleted all our files. We don't know what happened. Try this beer.
Yeah.
Here's a pretzel.
Oktoberfest.
Here's a pretzel. Shut up.
Yes.
There's, there's like a. That reminds me. There was this one joke on Family Guy where like they're taking a tour. Brian and Stewie are like in Germany, and they're like taking a bus tour, and it's like, then it's like, this person lived here, and then Brian's like, hey, look at your brochure. There's nothing between the years 1933 and 1945. And then it's like, oh, that's a misprint. And they're like, no, like that. You can't just ignore that. It's like, I will not hear anything else bad about Germany. Nothing bad happened. And then he starts speaking in German and giving a Nazi salute, and then it's like, is that a beer hall? Oh,
I saw a clip from like it was like a 70s TV show where it was like a late night thing, and they had a comic on there, and it was doing the German version of like, when I say this, you say that, you know, and he did like 3 different ones, and the last one he goes, Sieg, and they all said it or whatever, and he was like, oh, like that, and then immediately everybody was like, oh, like they went from laughing to like, oh no, what, oh, how did we do? Oh no. You brought up paintings making you sad and stuff, so I just remember that last year I went to Austin with a couple comics, and Ben Johnson and I were at a art museum, and there was this really cool painting that was like the size of this wall, and it had all different shapes and colors, and it was real pretty, and I just liked the way it all flowed together and stuff, and it was very abstract. You couldn't tell anything from the painting or about the painting from looking at it, you know, or at least I couldn't.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I really like this one. He goes, oh yeah, I like it too. What's it about? I'm like, I don't know. I just like the colors. I like the way it looks. And he goes, well, you have to read the plaque. You have to know what the artist was trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, okay. So I went up and I read the plaque, and it was like, this is to represent the rape of the indigenous people by the white colonialists. And I was like, oh.
No.
I was like, now I'm sad. I was like, now I respect the painting, but like I don't like it, you know. And so I always bring that up to Ben when I see him. Like, hey, do you remember that time you took my happy thoughts and turned them into bad ones? You remember that? You remember that time? Remember that time you took art and made it gross? So love you, Ben. No, zoos make me really sad when I go there.
Yeah.
But botanical gardens are underrated.
Oh yeah.
Botanical
for sure.
gardens are like a big park in a city. That's a fun way to kill some time, especially if the weather's nice. You can just walk around and just look at things, and there's always like little plaques of like, on this spot in 1989, the rape of the indigenous people. No, you're like, I can't escape it.
I was walking through Munich one day, and like I came up on this park, and there's like a giant statue of Michael Jackson, like this massive shrine to him with like people had been recently putting stuff out there, like candles and stuff like that, like. And I was like, what the, like, why in Munich are they so into Michael Jackson? And apparently, like, he put on, like, great concerts whenever he came through there, and they loved him. And I was like, wow, never would have known that. Just randomly out there, just stumbled upon that.
Yeah, I don't, you mentioned zoos, they make me sad, but it's also the smell.
Yeah.
Like, I can't.
Yeah.
It's too much. Like.
The penguin exhibit?
Yeah, like, that's, whenever I was a kid, I dreaded going to the zoo because it's just like, I have to smell all that, you know, like
monkey house.
Yeah, like, smell these animals.
Yeah, it's just like, ugh. it just made me sad the first time, and then I realized, oh, they're also having a horrible time in there, and then that makes me sad too.
It does make me laugh a little bit to think of like third grade Tiel, and like all the kids are like, I want to see the bears, I want to see the lions, I want to see the tigers, and he's like, take a bath, you bums, you know, like Tiel just like,
I'm gonna go ride the train.
It doesn't stink in here.
No, I can't. Yeah, the zoo always makes me sad. I hate it. I don't know. Shout out to the St. Louis Zoo. It's free. It's nice.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a bad zoo at all.
No.
They do look like they're trying to take care of the animals, you know what I mean? But also at the same time, you're like, all right, man, like this is an elephant's supposed to have like 100 miles to roam around in.
Yeah.
And you kind of gave it 25 yards,
Yeah,
you know? So
elephant's
you're
gonna
like,
be the saddest, probably.
this big feet.
Yeah.
I don't know. I did think of the other day, I was like, what if we don't know this, but all the animals at the zoo are actually like criminals? You know what I mean?
Locked up.
Like they were all busted for like insider trading, you know, like all the penguins were like part of like the drug trade or whatever, you know?
They're the masterminds for sure, according to Madagascar. So.
Yeah, 100%. They're definitely...
The nature documentary Madagascar.
No, absolutely. Yeah, 100% true.
Yeah.
Is aquariums are just full of bad fish.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like there's a school of tuna and they're all like snapping together. You know? Like,
those are the real sharks.
yeah, I was about to say. Yeah.
They'll cut you.
They'll cut you. That's so funny. And it's like they don't have knives, but they have like tuna can lids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're like, we're taking it back. Let's see. We'll do a couple more and we'll wrap it up here. But what's the best end of the world scenario? If you had to pick an apocalypse to go through, what are we going through? I've got lizard people, robot takeover, giant asteroid, alien, super volcano. Just some suggestions, you know, zombies, vampires. Yeah. That's one that's come up recently. I think would be an interesting twist. Or not. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like 10 years ago you asked me the question, I would have said zombies, but I feel like the more I think about it, the more like that would be terrible. Like, it'd be fun for maybe a day killing zombies, and you're like, this is too much. Like,
well, the thing that I don't understand, I would like to see a movie about zombies, but it's accurate.
Yeah.
Where if you wear a denim jacket, you're good. You know what I mean? Because the human teeth can't bite through jeans.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It would hurt. You know what I mean? You'd have a big bruise.
Yeah.
But teeth aren't going through there.
Yeah.
So it would just be like, stop. You know, you're just like pushing them.
Just
like
an annoyance.
Yeah, it's more of an annoyance. You're like, oh my gosh, I had to kill 3 zombies on the way to work today.
Yeah.
It was so annoying. Like I for a block, I just let him gnaw on me because I'm like, dude, I'm just not in the mood to kill you right now. You know? It's like, so long as you were kind of bundled up, you'd be okay.
Yeah.
You know? And I just think that's a world where people are annoyed by the zombies that are around. Mm-hmm. Instead of like, the first day, everybody's running scared, people in shorts go down, you know, stuff like that. But after, 36 hours, people will be like, oh, well, they're humans. So they can't bite hard.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, get me a Carhartt jacket and I'll be okay.
Yeah.
Carhartt jacket, a shotgun, because apparently that's the gun to use. Because like it seems like
Yeah.
every time people are shooting zombies, it's a shotgun.
Mhm.
Like,
Mhm.
and I'm just like, if they're that brings up a good point. If they're humans, so like really any gun would hurt them.
Yeah, any gun would hurt. I understand the shotgun just because it like sprays the pellets.
Yeah.
So you don't have to be super accurate, but
Yeah.
whereas with a rifle, like there's a lot of margin of error. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I do see what you're saying. Yeah, it's like literally anything. You know.
Anything would do them damage. Like, I think vampire is interesting because unless they're daywalkers, you have 12 hours where like you can
Yeah, and in the
just
summer,
be around.
Yeah.
Like
in the summertime, even I mean, in winter it would be a real problem.
in
Yeah.
winter's a problem. Yeah. But
Yeah, where it gets dark at like 5 p.m. and it doesn't get light until like 7:30 in the morning. You'd be like,
Yeah, but like
Oh,
shit.
but like spring and summer, that's like 6 months of just you could just go out in the daytime.
Yeah.
Like you could just
you can still go to the beach and
still do things. Yeah.
yeah. No,
Like-
I'm with you on that.
I Am Legend, he's like teeing off on the battleship. Like, that'd be badass, you know? Like,
Yeah,
but in like, oh, that in I Am Legend though, like the most anxiety filled scene for me is when like the light, it's like becoming night and he's like trapped or whatever upside down. And,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
and, like they're getting closer and closer, and like the dogs or whatever, like they can't go out of the shade.
Yeah,
And he's
yeah,
like
yeah.
the light is like still hanging on. He's like trying to get out of this fucking trap or whatever.
and his dog's barking.
His dog
so
is
you're
barking.
like,
Yeah.
no,
don't let the dog
no.
die, no.
Yeah, that was now that you talk about it, I'm like, I remember being like, oh, come on, man,
Get out of there.
come on, Mr. Smith.
Yeah, how'd you get stuck in that trap?
Another one I think would be another one I think that'd be fairly manageable would be like werewolves.
Yeah, because
like,
once a month.
Cause there's only once a month for a full moon. Like
Yeah.
like
I feel like if I had to pick something to turn into, I would definitely pick werewolf
yeah
because it's like, all right, 29 days a year or 29 days a month, I'm good.
yeah
You know what I mean? It's only the full moon. So really like 12 nights a year, you're going to have a bad time.
yeah.
But so long as you can like plan it's not like we don't know what the moon's going to be like.
Yeah, it's
you know?
like people. Yeah, it's like there are literal like the weather app on your phone will tell you like which.
Exactly.
It's like
It's like, hey, are you coming out Tuesday? Like, I'm sorry.
I can't.
Yeah, it's full
I got
moon.
a thing.
I got a thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I gotta lock myself in my cellar for like 12 hours. But yeah, I'll see you Wednesday. All right. You know what I mean? And you just like wake up naked in the basement and you're like, oh, this is embarrassing. Okay, all right.
Boy, is my face red. Like
Yeah. Oh man, this is so embarrassing. But yeah, I feel like that's super avoidable. Another thing is lizard people. I
yeah.
feel like lizard people because 6 months out of the year it's too cold for them.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so you're just, I mean, depending on your location, I wouldn't go to Arizona.
No, yeah.
They would probably thrive there in New
Yeah.
Mexico, you know. But I feel like we're far enough away from the equator that it gets cold. We could still live. I mean, now these days where it's 100 degrees,
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
days like
we'd be in trouble. We'd be in trouble for sure. But everybody moves to Canada
Yep.
for 6 months and then moves back in the winter, and then we just
alternate.
we just do what old people in New York do, where they just go to Florida for 6 months and then go back to New York.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like they've got it figured out. Maybe that's why
Yeah.
maybe the old people in New York are the lizard people.
Yeah.
You know what I
That
mean?
would
Have we
track.
ever thought about that?
Yeah. That tracks. That's where the lizard from Spider-Man's from, so
Oh yeah.
makes sense. He tries to
See, there you go.
He tries to turn everyone to lizards, so
Yeah, and then
I would say though, if I was gonna pick one that would like a total wipeout thing, I would definitely go with Meteor,
no, yeah.
and I would want to
that'd
be like
quick, yeah.
under it. You know,
right
like
on-
where
yeah,
it
yeah,
lands.
just done right, yeah.
Yeah,
right,
I don't want to
right.
be on the opposite hemisphere where
No.
it takes like 6 years for us to starve to death. You know what I mean? Like I would just be like, no, get me out. I don't want a tsunami taking me out. I don't want I'm good. Just a quick boom. Tell everybody bye. It's been fun. I'll see you guys later, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, somebody said super volcano. So I put it on there. I feel like that would be horrific.
That would be really,
That'd be a lot,
that'd be like, you're like looking for like, basically like the storm cloud like blocking the sun out is what's going to kill you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're going to be living off of insects.
Yeah.
And it's going to get real bad real quick.
Yeah.
So.
When you say super volcano, my brain just goes to a volcano with a cape.
Yeah.
Just like it's from Krypton.
Yeah. It's a volcano trying to stop a bank robbery.
Exactly.
So it just melts the city around it.
No more bank.
I'm here to stop you, and everybody's like, "No, please,
No, don't.
Oh, it's just lava, just falls. But it's still at like normal lava pace
Yeah,
of
so it
like
just
2
takes
miles an
forever.
hour. You know, so everybody's like, oh no.
And then
People are just like picking their feet up.
Yeah, then eventually, like it takes so long, people get the villains get bored. Like, oh no.
It's like, okay, well, you stopped the robbers, but you also burned up all the cash.
Yeah, it'd be different.
So it's still gone. Yeah,
it'd be a
it's,
different type of collateral damage. Like,
they arrest the supervolcano for like defacing government property or whatever, you know, because it's all legal tender, and they're like, oh, you burned $7 billion in cash. It melts Fort Knox, and they're like, what do we do? Okay, we'll end on this one. What's the best way to tell if somebody's a bad person? I'm sure we've probably done this before. Maybe I think.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, but it's always a good one to reiterate on. I think. For me personally, it's either not taking your shopping cart back or littering.
Yeah,
those are my two like. Littering used to not bother me, but very recently I saw someone do it, and I was like, "What?" Like I was instant rage, you know?
Yeah, just being inconsiderate in any like regard. Like I think what I mentioned last time was like tipping, like not tipping, like that's being inconsiderate.
Yeah.
Like not taking your shopping cart, that's inconsiderate. Like, people who just only care about themselves. I think you can usually tell they're a bad person.
I hate not tipping, but at the same time, there are some places where I'm like, really?
Yeah, no, I totally agree there. I mean,
The thing that drives me nuts about tipping is when companies that are like huge report like, we had a record-setting year. We made more money this year than ever before. But then their employees are like, hey, please.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Please,
yeah.
Can we have a couple extra bucks? Mm-hmm. You know, and you're like, well, if you guys made extra money this year, shouldn't you be
You would think so,
take care of these guys. Like, that would make me keep going back to you and buy more stuff to know that, like, hey, they take care of people. You know what I mean? I don't know. That annoys me. So, but also not enough to be like, no tip.
No, yeah.
I'm going to send a message to Starbucks. No tip for you. And they're just like, oh, gee, thanks, man. You know?
Yeah.
They're not going to get that message. But now I have to drive Uber this weekend because 17 people didn't tip me.
Exactly,
you know?
yeah.
So that's I don't know.
Yeah, just being inconsiderate that's just like I'm with you on littering. Like whenever I see somebody just throw something on the ground, I'm just like, not only is it like bad for the environment, it's just unnecessary. Like,
yeah, it's just I don't care. It's not my job.
I don't care. Like it's like you. There's so many people you're affecting with that on a.
Yeah, exactly. Because it doesn't go away. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Especially if it's like plastic and stuff. It's like, all right, come on.
Yeah,
I can kind of understand like a cigarette butt just because it's paper and cotton.
Yeah.
And both of those things will break down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so it's like, you should throw that away 100% or put it in one of those, cigarette butt containers, which are everywhere.
Yeah.
but people just fling them.
Yeah.
But at least it's not a 2 liter of soda, you know, because
Yeah.
that's never
That's
gonna,
no, yeah.
that's going to be there 10,000 years or whatever.
Yeah, I've seen those like cigarette butts that have like the seeds in them or whatever. Like you throw them away and then they actually like plants a flower or something. Like, have you seen those yet?
I have not seen those.
I don't smoke a lot of cigarettes, but I've seen a few that like they're like special.
That seems like,
cigarette filters or something that have like a seed in them.
does it work?
Doesn't,
Because I feel like
yeah,
the
I don't know.
heat from the, because you're burning
Yeah,
the
I
tobacco
mean, there's probably it's probably designed somehow to like avoid like it's probably
to
like
withstand heat.
yeah like a seed that like it can withstand heat. I don't know. I mean, there's always something out there.
And then it just makes super trees, and in the future we're
Yeah.
like, I don't know what we can't.
It just grows a tobacco plant. That's recycling. You know?
Yeah. Philip Morris is like, this is genius.
Yeah, I feel
Why
like
didn't we think of this sooner?
I'll see like cigarette butts in the ground. I think that they have like a little plant symbol on them or something. That's why I think it's like a seed in there. You know.
Huh. Well, I'm sure somebody smarter than me designed it, but I just feel like the fire would burn the seat, right? I mean,
Well, yeah, it would just be in the filter part. Like it'd be hot smoke, but
This I don't know if this is like a bad person thing, but it's just a pet peeve.
okay.
Like, cause
I love a good pet peeve.
yeah, like cause you guys know I can't drive myself, so
Yeah.
so if I'm in like an Uber or Lyft, or if somebody is driving me around and they don't have a seatbelt on,
Oh.
that freaks me out, because
Yeah.
like that means like because that means you don't care enough about yourself,
yeah.
about the state of your car, like
Or me.
or me, like, 'cause,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Pretty good
because
sign,
yeah,
yeah.
'cause it's like, and if you don't wear it when I'm in the car, you must not wear it at all,
Mhm.
and usually these are the same people who drive like 85, 90 miles an hour on the highway.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why there's very few people I will get in a car with, because it's like, what kind of person are you behind the wheel? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, are you oh, I'm watching for everybody, or are you we got to get there now? Like,
Yeah, it's like it's just like it always irritates me, and then it's like, especially in Ubers and Lyfts, because like I still have to I'm tipping 20% anyway. Like you might like
It just,
don't ma-
yeah, it's a
it's like
sign.
it makes me like I wanna dock
is
stars, but
would it be a bad thing to comment and be like, didn't wear his seatbelt, or like, driver doesn't wear seatbelt?
I think it affects the rating.
Well, then maybe they should start wearing their seatbelt.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly. That's my point. But it's like they probably don't have anything else. Like but so yeah. Like, you guys have any like little irritances, like?
Oh, so many. But so like, not putting your shopping cart back, to me, that's
Irritating.
a pet
Yeah.
peeve, because it's not a law. You don't have to do it,
Mhm.
but it's still like, oh, you're a bad person.
Yeah,
You know what I
it takes
mean?
5 seconds.
Like,
Yeah, literally.
another thing that drives me nuts, and shout out to Scott James, because he has a very funny joke about it, but my kids leave time on the microwave. Like, they'll put something in, they'll hit 2 minutes, you know what I mean? And then after 90 seconds, they just take it out. And it doesn't hurt me at all to clear the microwave, but it's just like, just you do
Yeah,
it. You know what I mean?
exactly,
Just
yeah.
hit, all you got to do is just boop, cancel, you know, or
Yeah.
end, or sometimes when you like when they open the door, it doesn't clear out for whatever reason. So it's like it's just a pet peeve.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I don't know why it annoys me so much, but it is.
That is that. Yeah, I'm with you on that. Like, I don't. Another thing that gets me is like when people, when they get stuff out of cabinets, and they leave the cabinet door open.
Yep.
Do we live in a barn?
Yeah, it's like we live in a society. Like what? And it annoys me because I'm tall, so like I may run into the cabinet.
Exactly. It hurts. Have you ever hit a cabinet, like the corner of a cabinet? It'll cut you and stuff. It hurts so bad, especially if you bend over and then you stand up and boom, just get that point right at the top. Oh, it's like a burning pain. Yeah. And now that I'm thinking about it, you get me all fired up. I'm like, oh, I have so many pet peeves. But like this place has like that community kitchen.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a coffee station. Mm-hmm. And sometimes people will use the last of like the sugar or the creamer or whatever. And under the coffee machine are cabinets with all of the refills that you need. Mm-hmm. And they're just like, oh, well, I used the last creamer, but it's not my job. And then they leave. And it's like, it takes nothing to just grab a handful and put them back. I'm not saying they all have to be stacked perfectly and aligned and stuff like that. Just throw them in there. You know what I mean? Yeah. Someone will come along and make them look nice, but at least you're like, oh shit, I took the last. Here we go. You know? Or like when the coffee machine's like, oh, it needs more water. People are like, oh, well, I guess I'm just not getting coffee, and they'll just walk away. And I'm like, just fill up the water tank.
Water's right there.
Yeah, it takes nothing.
They
it's
have like
so
the hot
easy.
Water thing too. I think.
I know.
Yeah,
it's so insane. And my thought exactly too. Yeah. It would drive just like. I can tell because it's just coming from somebody who's like, well, it's not my job, and it's like, no, it's nobody's job. It's just hey, this is a community, this is society. We gotta. Sometimes you just got to do a little extra,
common courtesy. Look it up,
Look it up.
It's not like I like knocked on one of these offices and I was like, "Hey guys, we're out of firewood. Could you go chop up this tree out back? Like it'll only take like an hour and a half. All right? Like, could you just go? I know it's 110 degrees outside today, but just we need like 40 more pieces of wood. Just go chop it up real quick. Like that would be something where I'd be like, no, I don't think so, man. I'm not gonna. I got stuff to do, But like, grabbing a handful of coffee creamer and putting it in a dish, you used the last.
Takes nothing.
Yeah. I don't know. That drives me insane. But anyway, well, that's a fun note to end on.
Oh yeah.
You guys want to plug your social media and the shows again? Yep. Just so everybody can remember.
Yep. So my Instagram is Andrew in St. Louis, and then we also have the STL Tonight sketch show. That is October 23rd at 8 p.m. at the Heavy Anchor. All three of us here are gonna be on it. It's gonna be a great time. Halloween theme.
It's gonna be fun.
Oh yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. I've never done something like that before, so I'm excited and nervous.
You'll be great.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fun. Yeah. And then my Instagram is Tiel 520 Tiel 520, I'm doing that show at STL Tonight. I'm doing the Subculture Factory, which is also at Heavy Anchor next week.
Yep.
And I'm at the Fountain City in Kansas City at September, at Flyover in November. Here at St. Louis.
Shout out to it. All right. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it. And I'll see you guys next week. Bye.